get it done. In actual fact, getting people's buy-in for the commitment side and getting people's input for the liaison side actually depends on them understanding what is doing and why they're doing it. So we have a role to actually explain to people what's going on beyond just typing in values and presenting spreadsheets and graphs. So the solution I'd advance on this is, whenever you can, explain what you're doing to make the models that you're making and why. So as I was saying, there's the up to the commitment side. There's the liaison side. First of all, when people actually know what you're doing, it does actually give them a sense of why it's important, and people are very smart. They can work out quite quickly how it might benefit them. In the curious, and we have a lot of curious people in system development, in the nicest possible way, very intelligent, very interested to learn about new things. And if you can tell them a story about how you're going to discover what the system's going to do before it's actually delivered, or what changes are going to happen in the future, very often people are quite responsive to that. And as you explain, you'll get some questions back. It's actually a dialogue, and those will give you some useful information that you can feed into your modelling effort. On top of that, any confusion, so you have an idea about what you're going to do as a modeller, sometimes they might have an idea about what you're going to do as a modeller. Very often senior people who've maybe done a bit of modelling at university maybe, or they've read a few papers, might decide that they know what you're going to produce and how you're going to produce it. Indeed they might, but I would urge you to make sure you convince them of your version of what you're going to do, rather than let them run away with their own ideas. Where might this take place? Of course, we're all pressurised for time. Well, very often on a project there'll be a group meeting, and you might be able to take a slot just to explain a little bit about what you're doing and how it works. There may be like reports, there may be regular emails. You might even want to do, if you're so inclined, put like an internal blog on the current state of the model that people can flick into and have a look. The corollary for this is, as I say, people in the business, they're all very smart, they're all very curious. Don't patronise them, don't completely overpower them with your impression of what modelling is and how it works. But at the same time, you have to project what you believe the model is about, what you believe that the model is trying to achieve, and how you're going to drive it forward. They may have some useful input, and you might change your mind, but the key thing is not to be corralled. A lot of the cases I've seen where modelling hasn't gone that well, there have been 2 or 3 senior people with conflicting ideas about what the model should deliver. It ends up trying to meet the needs of all these people. It ends up meeting the needs of none of these people, and the project promptly collapses. So take responsibility for you saying, okay, well, this is how I think it's going to work. So all these things, they cost time, they cost resources. What are the benefits in terms of the model itself? Well, from having this dialogue, from having the decision makers involved and having the people who know the most about the system involved, you're getting alignment, right? You're getting a focus for your effort on the questions that people actually want to know. One of the reasons that often models and modelling isn't that influential is we get the right answer, but to questions that nobody was asking. If we have the engagement of these two groups, then we stand a better chance of finding out what people actually want to know. And the truth is, there's a little feedback loop here. As you tell them things, they might start to ask some other interesting questions, which will make you think again about how you're doing things. This may kind of ask us to apply what we're doing slightly differently, but there's which has kind of benefits and risks. But nonetheless, once you've got them involved, we have a platform to, if they want to extend it, say, okay, well, I can tell you that, but that's a slightly different model. And the other benefit from this engagement is realism. So we're able to critique the underlying assumptions of the model and the values that we're plugging into the model by showing it to people who understand the context. So the people who understand the decisions, the people who understand the hardware, the software, the operations. And again, this feedback loop, they are helping you to modify your assumptions. They're helping you to ask questions about how it's going to be configured, how it's going to be deployed. And again, this might cause you to migrate your practice of modelling slightly. So by engaging in these 5 activities, we've got some. We're rooting what we're doing in the actual in the real needs of the project, but we're also saying we're prepared to move. We're prepared to adjust what we're doing to deliver what people want. So this is really the underlying question: Are we modelling for ourselves, or are we modelling for the project? If you're modelling for yourself, that's all well and good. It's for your information, but then it's going to be at your own cost. If you're modelling for the project, then I suggest you engage with them and find out what they need to know. But at the end of the day, it's still your project, still your model, and you're responsible for it. So, my summary, and I guess we're nicely at the end. So, get your commitment from people who are making decisions. Talk to people who understand the system best of all. Help them understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Model what people really want to know. Check what we understand, and ultimately take responsibility for the model, because even though it's the project's model, it's your responsibility to shape and migrate the project. So, apologies I have run over. I would love to have had some more time for questions, but maybe I'll be around. I'll be milling around, so I'll happily have a chat about it. If you have some experiences that you'd like to share, all these slides will go online, and as I say, we could have a chat during the interval. So I don't want to hold John back anymore. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.